on today's Success and Excuses podcast, we have John Cox. John, all the way from Peebles. Welcome to Success and Excuses podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me, James. I really appreciate it.
Brilliant. Listen, tell us a little bit about who's John Cox. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Where do I begin? We'll start from the top and work our way back.
Go for that then.
So, I'm managing director of Cox and Co, a property services company based in the centre of Edinburgh.
Yep.
We cover the whole of Scotland, and on my other role, I suppose, is I'm managing director of the Casa Group, which is a property services group that spans from the northeast of England right to the top of Scotland.
Wow.
So we're a busy business, always growing. Currently sitting as probably the fastest growing property services group in the UK.
Wow.
Which is good crack. I am a ex-rugby player, played professionally for a very short period in my early 20s before setting up my business 20 years ago, past December. Dad, husband, I've got 2 kids, live in Peebles but commuting to Edinburgh every day. Got a nice wee
And
work.
your non-negotiable is taking the kids to school.
My non-negotiable is that's what we were talking about before we came on there.
Yeah,
was exactly that. It's really important for me to. The business is constantly growing. I do a lot of charity stuff. I'm a trustee for a couple of charities. Mm-hmm. I really feel that it's really necessary at this point where the kids are at the age and stage that they are, that they're at least seeing me every single morning.
Yeah.
And I'm making sure that I'm home for dinner, bath and bed, probably 6 out of 7 nights. It's really, really important to me, make sure that I'm there for them right now. I can always kind of run myself in the ground later. But for right now, at this early stage of them, I want to be there for them as much as I can.
Well, you've been 20 years in business.
Yeah.
So let's go back a wee bit now then.
Sure.
How, why, when, how, so rugby. By the way, one of my directors is also an ex-rugby player. In fact, he was the manager for Dundee Rugby Club up until recently, and they get fired. Anyways, how did it come about? So you were a rugby player. What happened? How did you get into the industry?
Went professional at 18. Quite lucky. Came straight out of school, straight into pro rugby.
Yep.
At the time, early 2000s, professional rrugby was still very much in its infancy.
Yeah.
There wasn't very much money in it. You were kind of assigned a club at the same time. So although I was basically signed with Edinburgh, but I was aligned with a club called Boroughmuir. Mm-hmm. The full-time contract was nowhere near enough to live on. So back in the day, working doors, working bars, doing what I can, living a great life from living in Aberdeen, big fish, little pond type syndrome, moving to Edinburgh.
You're actually from Aberdeen?
I am indeed, for my sins.
I wouldn't have known that with the accent. No,
I've been down here a very, very long time now.
I was going to say, there's definitely not an Aberdeen accent.
There's occasionally a wee twinge. My wife
I used to live in Aberdeen as well, by the way.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Ex-oil and gas.
Really sorry to hear that.
That's not what I say.
I moved down at 18. Enjoyed 3 years of sort of semi-pro rugby, enjoying kind of chasing that dream. Got offered a contract in France, moved to France at 21 years old, played in the 2nd division in France, made a bit more money out there, gained, some incredible life experiences at a very young age, learned a new language, new culture, and that kind of opened my eyes to kind of starting to realise, where do I want to go with this? I suppose I was 21, 22 when it kind of hit home that I wasn't going to go and get 100 caps for Scotland, become a British and Irish Lion. I wasn't going to go become a BBC pundit. So I started to think seriously about what the next steps could be for myself. And my father was a mortgage broker in Aberdeen. Right. Done very, very well. I had a good upbringing. I had ups and downs like every child does, but my parents provided a great life for us. Sure. And I thought, what, that's a role I kind of go into. But let's be honest, I was 22, 23, and I was kind of asking my dad, what's a mortgage? Yeah. And I had to go out of nowhere. After finishing a contract at the age of 23 in England, I moved from France to England, played there, realised I wanted to get back to Edinburgh and settle in Edinburgh. So, no joke, I literally drove from Sheffield, where I was living, up to Edinburgh, stopped in it straight into IKEA, bought a desk, took it to my little flat in Edinburgh, set myself up, and I went and ordered my mortgage sort of qualification examination books, if you will, and started. And that was me on the journey of becoming a mortgage broker. It was
so you started as a mortgage broker.
That's how it started. Okay, that's where it all became.
Rugby, mortgage broker. I'm interested in this journey.
I wanted to do what my dad did, but I didn't want to do it for him.
Yes.
I was far too hard-headed for that. Now, granted, during my training and so on, all my business, I was self-employed from 23, so I was immediately handing business in via my old man's, at the time, FSA number, his brokerage. Yeah. Slowly but surely started to build my own book in Edinburgh, to a point where in the first 2 years I was in a position I could open my first office.
Wow.
It was busy, and a lot of it was through rugby contracts, rugby contacts, sport contacts, referrals. Built this wee book, my older brother decided to follow me down to Edinburgh, which was really cool. We were very close. He followed me down and we set up an office together in Edinburgh. And that was where things started to really kick on, because we had this wonderful sort of mortgage book in Edinburgh. We had this great mortgage book of 30 odd years worth in Aberdeen. So that gave us a good bit of ballast behind us. And it became really evident over probably the first 18 months, 2 years, that diversifying into lettings and property management might be the way as a family business we should go. Set up a secondary business, a partnership this time between me, my brother and my father, and the lettings business just blew up. We had over 300 properties within 18 months over Edinburgh and Aberdeen. I always make this joke saying it was like an HMRC's auditing dream, because we had these two businesses, one vatable within 18 months. It was just everywhere. It blew up too quick. We were taking on staff. It was wild. The Aberdeen market at the time was, as you know from working oil and gas, it was in its heyday. Things were absolutely flying. 2003 through 2011. It was really mad time. So I kind of dragged, best way to put it, I kind of dragged my dad kicking and screaming into this amalgamation of both businesses, put the family name above the door, and that's where Cox and Co was born. And we essentially set up a limited company, Cox and Co, and that was the start of a lettings and mortgage brokerage combined. Goodness, it seems like a bloody long time ago now from when we actually set that up. But it was great. It was really exciting. We spent a lot of money at the time with business coaches and marketing companies, and probably spent far too much money for what in essence probably was still a small business compared to what we have now. But
it was great experience and great learning as well, though.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was exciting. It was a bit of a hustle. It was really good crack. It became quite evident as we were recruiting and bringing in more staff, and we were running two different branches really early on. My old man running the Aberdeen office, me and my brother running the Edinburgh office. Alignment was the thing that started to really hit home to me, whereby I felt we weren't aligned. I felt I had a great big vision for what I wanted to build.
I love it.
My dad, love him to death, and he was still very much your Aberdonian sole trader.
And that's okay if that's your thing, isn't it? If
Totally.
that's your mindset,
you
have a really good lifestyle at it, so be it.
Correct. Really good at making money. Really good at
you had a big
relationships.
vision. You had this big.
I had a huge vision for where I could see Cox and Co becoming. My brother very much treated the business like it was a 9-to-5 job. Not he had, when the door closed at 5 o'clock, we locked the door at 5 o'clock, should I say. He went and did his extracurricular activities, where I just didn't stop thinking about the business. I was working every minute of the day.
Entrepreneur mindset, isn't it? You just cannot bloody stop.
I just seen that there was a bit of a niche in the market at the time. So if you let me to kind of elaborate on that, the view for me was, hold on, I'm not just managing these people's properties, I also manage the same people's finances. It was amazing to see the fact that we understood how much lending they had, what insurances they had. We then could work out how much equity was in the properties of our landlords. Being able to that point then start reporting to them, not just on a reactive basis, a pull cord breaks in the bathroom, you have to phone them and tell them, it's 60 quid to get that fixed. You were able to sit down on an annual review with these clients and say, well, listen, you've got this much equity, what's your thoughts with this? Or look, based on how much equity you've got.
Financial advice as well, basically, based on like a portfolio.
Yeah, and really early doors, it was really quite rugged. I never managed... the formalisation of that advice wasn't quite there, but the vision was there.
I thought, you had an idea of what it could be.
I just had this view of that we could become asset managers. We could turn this into offering so much more than just lettings or mortgages. And it became very evident that a lot of our clients knew us as either mortgage brokers or letting agents. And some of our clients who've been with us for years never actually knew we did the other side. Never even realised, because they never needed to know. So that went on to like a 6-7 year process thereafter, whereby a lot of butting heads with my old man. My brother then left the business to go off and do his own things, which I always knew he would do, which was great. It allowed him to go and do what his actual
Did you buy him out?
Yeah. And goodness, I could sit and tell you the whole story, but ultimately 4 years ago, I bought my father out.
Right, okay.
And we sold Aberdeen business about 7 years ago. That was at that point thinking, great, this will pay off my dad and he can go off and retire into the sunset. And instead what happened, he had a desk 112 miles away from me, and then the week later he had a desk 6 feet away from me, because he moved his desk from Aberdeen into my office in Edinburgh. And we had another sort of 3.5 years, which was even worse, because at that point we're across the table from each other. And that's when we really started to realise that as much as I love my dad, Alex, my business partner, and I weren't getting on. I bought my dad out 4 years ago, and at that point we've really kicked on with the vision, the role, the propositions, if you will, were already getting refined by that point. But now I can sit here in 2026 and safely say that what we have now is a property wealth management business. Cox and Co essentially are Scotland's only true turnkey property service under the one roof, and majority of our clients now are high net worth individuals that are global. We are sourcing property for them, arranging the funding for said properties, managing those properties, and the beauty of it all is we're actually reporting to them on a monthly and quarterly, annually basis.
In the same way,
the same way a wealth manager would. Don't get me wrong, we still have one-off landlords of one property that we took on years ago. We still do first-time buyer mortgages and remortgages, and I love seeing clients come in of a morning and get their agreement in principle and walk out all excited. But the majority of the time in my office is my investment managers that we have under our employ, who are working with our portfolio landlords, high net worth individuals, and family offices, and we are basically assisting the management of their property wealth.
It all sounds amazing and exciting, but there's always challenges.
Huge.
What's been the biggest challenges? So if you look back, and the reason I ask is a lot of people listening to the podcast, they're in business, they're starting in business, maybe going through some challenging times in business. For me personally, people. Right, I always found the managing of people, even though I run a leadership company, it's still really difficult because you want to give these, a lot of employees real autonomy, because they're people at the top of their game, autonomy, but also lead them around your vision and where you want the business to go. What's been the biggest challenges? So let's kind of walk through it. They've obviously been different challenges.
Sure. But
what are the ones that kind of jump it and go, if I could go back there, I would just change that, or I'd have done something different.
But it goes back to what you've said there. Self-improvement is the key here as a leader. And I was probably too hard-headed. I was probably too aggressive in my approach early doors, because we're constantly trying to grow. I was also very much heavily on the tools. So I'm trying to lead and manage and grow.
And still do the work.
And still do the work, correct. Yeah. And I think the best thing that I ever did, and it was probably not just get off the tools, but then spend a lot more time by better selection of key members of staff, building an actual leadership team, working with the right people to build out the right sort of visions, missions, goals for the company, and then empowering my team to go away and work with me on that vision. As we sit here today, I've got a leadership team now in Edinburgh of 4 directors that all run different pillars of the business, and they are solely only accountable to me, and they get about 95% autonomy in their week to go and run the business. You have to do that, don't you, when you get to a certain stage, because you're hiring people who are, I think, is it Richard Branson says that hire them and let them do their thing, or I can't remember, Richard Branson or Steve Jobs, one of them said hire really good people and let them do their bloody job. I think that's the big thing that I've learned is that one, I'm not particularly fond of working day-to-day in lettings. And bizarrely, being in this game for 20 years, I don't have the thick skin that a lot of people do need to work in lettings and property management. I take things too personally. But and I know why. It's because I'm quite a passionate, emotional guy. I'm exactly the same. That's why I'm a terrible coach. It's difficult. I gave up business coaching years ago because I was terrible at it. Because I was very black and white. I don't have grey. You're either in or you're not. You're either doing the work or you're not. I used to say to clients, it's from a sporting background, that's how I am. You just paid me $6,000 and you're not turning up, and when you do turn up, you're not doing the work. Why? Like, you're wasting my time and you're wasting your time. In fact, you're burning your money. You used to try and be cuckoo. Our company's mission statement or mantra, whichever you want to kind of call it, without being too kind of smushy, honesty, integrity, and accountability. And I live my life by that. And core values. Core values. That's how I live my life, and with everything, personally and professionally. And it drives some people mad, but then with that, I don't suffer fools lightly. I keep a very close-knit friendship group, but then with that, I keep a close-knit business buddy group as well. I'm exactly the same. Exactly the same. But with that, they know where I stand, and I know where I stand with them. And I think it's really important that my business is the same. So we work really bloody hard for our clients. We offer a wonderful service. And what I love is my clients, they understand that as well. They get. I always make a joke about the fact that Cox and Co is a team of adults. We've got no part-time staff. We've got no trainees. We're exactly the same. All others is full-time staff. They all get paid really, really well. And I know they're all better at what they do than I am at that now. Whereas before I didn't. Before I thought I was the best salesman, I was the best mortgage broker, I was the best letting agent. And I would take everything on. Whereas now I know that I've got a wonderful sales team, wonderful lettings team, wonderful mortgage team and a hell of an investments team.
Yeah.
So they go off and they run the business, and they now understand the vision. And I'm there now as kind of captain rather than coach.
Yeah, the orchestra. That was it. You're hanging that you're leading the orchestra.
Yeah, but a conductor.
Yeah.
But then with that, I still like to think I'm leading the way. I'm still involved in some client engagement, and I'm still bringing in a lot of clients that are contacting me directly, and I still want to have a finger in. Yeah,
most of our biggest clients actually come through LinkedIn for me. Even though we've got a sales team and all that, and I just normally have the call, have a meeting with them, and then I just pass them on to one of my directors or business development directors, and I let them take the whole kind of financial side.
I think what's important is just making sure that the client is getting service throughout the whole journey, and you're making sure that you are there if needed, and you're there to pick the phone up as and when required, and even if it's just a thank you for their business at the end. What we did was we tried to create more of a relationship mentality with all of our clients rather than transactional mentality.
Couldn't agree more.
And as soon as we kind of changed that, what a difference it's made. It's completely elevated the business. So most of our clients are now, multi-transactional with us, or they're with us for a number of years. Or if they're investing,
go to you for everything around that kind of property, investment portfolio. They just come. Oh, sorry, we'll just go to Cox and Co.
Absolutely,
we're easy. We know
and that's for residential and commercial now as well.
Yeah.
So we've now got our commercial pillar we've just launched.
Wow. Okay.
So we now do full sort of commercial finance brokering across the UK. So we're doing a fifth pillar. We've got a sixth pillar coming soon, which we'll talk about maybe next time I come on with you.
No worries, absolutely. I look forward to that.
Yeah, the key is now we are Cox and Co itself as the company that I am MD for in Edinburgh, what I kind of founded, if you will, is going at a rate of knots, and it's really bloody exciting. But last year, just to kind of change tack slightly here, I actually sold the business last year.
Right, okay.
So, sold 100%.
Full exit.
No. So I'm not going anywhere. This is the fun part of this. This is where things get really exciting.
Okay.
For a number of years as a business owner, I felt I needed a big brother.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is...
I totally get this, by the way, because it's probably one of the hardest things in business is not having somebody to bounce off of, a big brother,
I think,
for advice.
Financially, and to have other heads at the same level.
Yeah.
Who motivates the motivator?
Yeah.
I always find that quite difficult in the days when I'm having a tough day, or the kids have been up through the night, or whatever. You've got to go in there and be at 100 miles an hour with the team, and they've got to lead, you're leading. Financially, for me to grow each of these pillars of our business, needed a bit of an anabolic injection, let's just say, and met with some wonderful business owners from the northeast of England, the Holbrook family, and we've been doing a bit of business together for a couple of years. Long story short, we essentially agreed last year that what would happen is they would buy 100% of Cox and Co. I'd get a nice wee lump sum for that, and I would give back X amount back, buy in to the actual their group, of which completed end of September 2025. So I'm now managing director for Scotland and on the board with the Casa Group, which is absolutely wonderful. It allows me to continue to run Cox and Co the way I want, while also working on a number of different acquisitions and mergers across the country with the group. And a big part of this is to roll out the Cox and Co.'s brand propositions across the whole group now.
Right.
So currently...
So take your business model that you've created and proven is a success, and then basically implement that across the rest of the UK.
Yeah, so we've got 9 other branches within the group, of which all are letting and estate agents, predominantly, from North Yorkshire up to the border. And the key now for me, is one of my kind of roles and remits within the group, is to essentially, I always call it to Coxify each of those branches. But they've all got their own personalities, their own history, they've all got their own staff, they've all got their own thing. But what they're all missing is a financial services arm. They're all missing an investments arm. They're missing conduits. They're missing people internally that understands that these landlords that they've maybe been servicing for years could do with some financial advice or some assistance with their insurance, or God forbid if they just need to exit while having tenants in situ, being able to offer an investments arm to do that for them, rather than just vacating a property and get the tenant out and then having to go to open market. There's so much more opportunities in the UK market to sell property, and that's really something where we specialise is private acquisition.
And if you've got enough of a network like you've obviously built over the years, you can then actually go, I know just the man, I know just the person that can take this portfolio over.
Entirely, James. That's a huge part of it for me. That was where the penny dropped a number of years ago, was my phone was going for everything and anything, and I wouldn't say no to anything. But with that, then we became extremely good at rolling out people's property dreams, you know, selling a property, buying another one, trading between two different clients.
Yeah.
I always go back to the first ever property I sold, and it was for a landlord of mine, 2006, 2005. He was an awful landlord. He was awful. And I remember something happened, like a pull cord in a bathroom or something broke, and he phoned into the office and he was moaning at my brother at the time. I can't believe this is broken. I can't believe you're going to charge me 65 quid to change a pull cord or whatever. And I had enough. So I valued his property by going online, looking at some comparables and so on, and how do we look at the market. And I was aware that I had another landlord that was looking for 1-bedroom flats in Edinburgh.
Yep.
So I phoned this other landlord and said, listen, I might have an opportunity here for you. 1-bedroom flat in Polworth in Edinburgh. It's worth X. It's got a tenant in situ. They're renting it for this. Does that suit you? And by that point, my proposition was nowhere near refined. It was literally that. It was just a hustle.
How does that work?
Yeah. The landlord said, yeah, that sounds great. If you can introduce me, let's get that deal done. I went, great. That'd be 1%. You okay with that? Oh, yeah, absolutely fine. So I phoned the landlord, the bad one.
It as you go along, then.
I phoned the bad landlord and says, listen, you've been a client now for 6-7 years. I bloody love you. You're a really nice guy, but you're an awful landlord. And he laughed and goes, yeah. I said, right, if I can introduce you to another buyer and he can buy your property with a tenant in situ, 6 weeks, money in your bank, and you can just walk away, would you do it? And I've said it on another podcast before. He called me a warlock. That was a weird one. He goes, that's amazing, John. It's like magic. You're a warlock. Go and do it, please. Just go do it. I went, great. 1%, okay? Yeah, it's fine. No problem at all. And what I created at that point was I then sold that property to an existing landlord. I made 2% on the sale and buy.
Tenants happy?
So the big...
Probably very happy because they've got a better landlord.
Well, you've literally stole my thunder, but that's the beauty of it. So... we really endeavour to provide good homes to good people.
Yeah.
So every opportunity, we never want to vacate a property. We want to retain good tenants within good properties across the country. It's really, really important for us to ensure that happens. The private rental sector is on its knees at the best of times.
Yeah, absolutely.
The last thing we want to do is ever vacate a tenant. So if I can find a great solution for both buyer, seller, tenant, you know, jobs are good, and if we're making money off the back of it, then fantastic. Yeah. But what happened there was that bad landlord was, he got what he wanted. He got a nice big lump sum and got to walk away from his headache property that he had. I had a landlord over here that was wanting to build a portfolio. It was absolutely delighted with me. But this property over here was on a legacy management fee, so that got increased as well. We charged a fee and we did the mortgage for him to purchase it.
So tick.
So everything came out, and it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Number of years on.
Up there going, wait a minute,
well, that was it.
Really works.
But then you obviously have the worries about conflicts of interest and so on. So it's building out the right panel of solicitors, it's building out the right paperwork, it's working with a wonderful legal team to ensure that everything that we're doing now is completely legitimate and watertight. And that is the gist of what we do on a daily basis, but on a massive scale compared to that now, which is wonderful.
I mean, you're dealing with people's money. It's very, very stringent. It's FCA, isn't it?
Yeah.
Got to be FCA approved. You've got all these things have got to be in place, and it's, I mean, I want to go back to something that you mentioned about friend groups, right? Because I'm very similar. I've got a very, very small group of friends, people I would trust. Funnily enough, they're people I've met in the business journey, and I think it's because they understand the tough times. They understand the sleepless nights. They understand when you've had a couple of bad... Do you know what I mean?
Alignment.
They understand it. They get it. So, and it's, you can vent to them and they're like, oh, you know what? I know exactly. Whereas when I say it's loosely mates, non-business, just
couldn't agree more.
have no idea. Absolutely no idea.
I think it's important to have a varied group of pals and so on, of course. And I've still got a lot of mates from back in my rugby days and so on that, you know, we do very, very different things. Yeah. That's okay. But your close-knit group that you're spending time with, you need to be aligned.
Yeah,
you need to have very similar values personally and professionally, and sometimes you do want to sit on a Friday night with friends and have a couple of bottles of wine and talk shop.
Absolutely.
And you know what?
Absolutely.
For business owners and entrepreneurs and whatever else you want to call yourselves these days, it's important to have that, because that is just as good for you as 60 hours in the office. I sometimes feel my best ideas come from maybe a Saturday night sitting with a glass of red with a couple of pals. Like, believe me, I'm all for that. We all I mean, we're Scottish. We all enjoy a good few drinks of a weekend and let loose. And
Scottish rugby,
definitely. I'm just back from Rome. I was there for the Six Nations with a big group of all couples, great fun, and we let loose and had a cracking time. And it was a slow start last week back in the office, but we all got something from that.
Yeah.
But then this weekend, I'm catching up with a couple of old business buddies, and it'll be exactly that. It will literally be, hopefully, a couple of glasses of red, a nice steak, a bit of a chat,
and
we'll talk about
a good blether
and a good vent.
Aye,
I think sometimes that's what's needed. Is a good vent.
That was going to be my next point. No, this is what I've found in the business world for me with friends is the venting, is the being able to call them up, and I'll just send a WhatsApp. Listen, you got 10 minutes. Aye, okay, I'll get your phone. Your phone, just say, and you can just go there, and they get it. They're no judgmental. They're no, and then they open up and they go, well, wait to hear what happened to me, and I just, because I'm going to go back to something you mentioned. I have always found it really difficult to find a good mentor. I've had a few cracking in the past, and I always find it really difficult. I always felt like it was always me that gave, and I never. Until I really started to build really good friendships with other people who are successful business owners. Yep. And all of a sudden you're like, actually, you know what, I'm not on my own any longer. I've got these guys to vent off to. Yeah. I mean, and we really vent off. I mean, we F and C, and I mean, we really vent.
It's needed.
And it's only, and you would never speak like this anywhere else except between, do you know what I mean?
It's a very small circle of trust. But then with that, we all need it.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, with me living in Peebles, but my business being in Edinburgh, and then also I'm back and forth to our headquarters now in Newcastle. Yeah. I'm on the road a lot.
Yeah.
And I was an hour and 20 in the rain through to meet you today.
Yeah.
I've been on the phone the whole time. And there's been an element of that already today. Yeah. But I needed it as well. Just sometimes you've got an idea, and for that idea to come out into fruition, you sometimes do need to actually vent about it or talk about it with somebody who's got nothing else to add other than just here listening to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've got some wonderful business buddies that I do that quite frequently with, and I think in all honesty, I've got more of them that do it to me more than I do to them. And I want to be there for them. I want to be there for their journey as well. And I want to listen to them. And they do know my schedule. They know when I'm going to be on the road. And that's where my phone tends to go without me even phoning them.
Yeah.
My phone goes, are you on the way into the office, John? Yeah. Can I bounce this off of you?
Because they know you're going to be travelling.
And I'm like, yeah, go for it, please. And sometimes I'm just driving, smiling, listening and going, yeah, yeah, that's right, they are that. Yeah, you call them that. Absolutely, great, right, okay. And then at the end of it, thanks, John, that's great. And they come off the phone. Because I know then that's money in the bank. It means that when the time comes for me to do the same, they'll be there for me to do it. And
absolutely.
It's so important because it's not, I think a part of that, people forget, a good vent on that, it's good for your own mental and physical growth.
Do you know, find, right, and I'm going to go back again a wee bit, when I talked about the challenges and the hurdles that we face growing and scaling a business, and, people don't, what I was going to say is when you're having those times, right, where you're really questioning everything that you're doing, everything that you've done, you're having maybe one of those lows in the business, and I used to find myself thinking, oh, is it really worth it? Oh, there's days out you want to run away. I mean, literally, there's days that you want to run away. I'm saying this. I'm wondering if you've ever experienced that. There's days you just want to run away. And then 2 days later, and you've won this high again. Yeah. It's bonkers.
It's the highs and lows of business.
It's bonkers.
So I'm almost 43. I now selling the business is giving me a new lease of life. I now joined this group co.
It's like a big.
There's a huge sense of that, but I'm also now going, right, let's go again. My life savings is back into this new business.
Yeah.
And it's a brand new venture, and it's going to grow 10 times as fast as what I've already built. So now my whole life is going to be dedicated to growing the group co across the UK and making it the most successful property services group in the UK. That is my sole aim. And
that's the vision, that's the dream, that's the thing.
5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 2 years, however long it's going to take, we've got some big plans. And I'm really excited to see where we're going to be in 12 months' time, let alone we're going to be in 36 months' time. But let's be really honest. Some mornings I get up and I walk my working Cocker Spaniel along the River Tweed in Peebles, and I'm walking going, what's wrong with you, John? I'm looking at my Whoop app and my heart rate's going, and I'm like, why am I full of anxiety? And it's just, sometimes it can just be too much. And you're overthinking and you're worried, and you've maybe got a tax bill and you got this and you got the wife saying, I want another holiday, and I want this and I want that, and I'm... Not that she's asking for loads, but you don't understand. But sometimes it can feel that way, and they're not. They just want to talk life. We should maybe get a new sofa. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about a sofa. I've just done, X amount of hours, and I've got this stress, and I've got this recruitment thing I'm doing, and blah 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 blah. And yeah, it all just becomes too much.
Yeah,
and I could down tools. I could get bought back out, take a lump sum. I could do mortgages and sell properties in Peebles from the house.
Yeah.
But I'd be doing twice as many hours.
Yeah.
I'd be doing all the admin. I'd be doing all that and so on and so on. And within 6 months to a year, I would be hating life. I always make a joke, and you'll maybe enjoy this. One of my neighbours is a business owner as well in Edinburgh. A good friend of mine, similar age and stage, kids and everything. We've become really good buddies. One of my wine buddies that will drink at a weekend and vent about shop. And we always make this joke that when we're older, we're both going to become local posties. And because we both like the idea of, and no offence to any posties, but we like the idea of going to work in shorts. We like the idea of being finished by 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon and going for a pint. Yeah. Race each other and see who can post many letters.
My postie's that guy.
Yeah.
He wears shorts and he goes to the pub after every shift.
So we made that joke a good few years ago, and COVID hit and so on, and then we started making jokes about like the delivery guy. So everyone's got their Amazon guy that's at the door. Yeah. But I know our Amazon delivery guy, but
his name's John.
Yeah, Kevin's mine, Kevin, and I see him kicking about in his van doing his thing. I think, God, that'd be great fun. And every once in a while I sit with my wife Susan and I say, I want to be the next Kev. I want to take over. I'll get a van and I'll deliver. And my wife says this, and it's so poignant. She goes, John, you'll do what Kev does for 3 months.
Then you'll be bored.
No. You'll then you'll get Adam across the road, your other buddy, to get a van. And then you get somebody else to get a van. And then you'll deliver. Then you'll employ a logistics manager, and the next thing you'll own the biggest logistics business in bloody Scottish borders, John. And I'll never see you. And I went, what are you getting at? And she goes, you will never settle. Do what you're good at, because when you're doing what you're good at, you're thriving, John. And your aura, your buzz, everything about you is where it should be, and that's what people love about you. He goes, so you'll never settle to be the postie or to be the delivery guy. And you know what?
I get it.
I
get it. I totally get it, because I actually think, like, retirement, it's like, I can't comprehend it. I just cannot comprehend ever. There's only so much golf, so many beers, there's only so much. I just think, why would I ever, as long as I'm still loving what I do, why would I ever want to not do it? Totally. Do you know what I mean?
Couldn't agree more.
Like I was in the City of Glasgow College yesterday, full day, and it was all business students, and I was doing an hour talk, so 4 hours, so an hour, I think it was 10 to 11, 11 to 12, half 1 to half 2, and then 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And I was ending just a kind of motivational kind of talk thing, and I was talking about self-leadership and when they're moving on in their career and they've got to own it, and I absolutely loved it. See, a young guy came up to me at the end of the one of the programmes, and he says, that has just changed my life. Whew, that's good stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, that makes me feel like, wow, I could do this forever. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then you add on all the business problems, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it forever. But it's the reason I'm saying that is it's gone back to what you say, when you're really good at something, right? Really good at something, and you've got this, you just understand how to drive the business forward. You think, how could I ever give that up? Mm-hmm. What would I do? Do you know what I mean? What would I do? Mm-hmm. Could I do it for somebody else? Could I retire and be a consultant? Do you know what I mean? All these things go through your mind.
God, it sounds a bit full on. I'm a leader. What I know I'm very good at is leading people.
Yes.
Empowering people.
I can tell with the words that you say, the vision, the kind of, you can tell. Because that's the number one leadership trait, is having a really vivid vision of what it is you're trying to build. Sure.
But I've always been that. Yeah. Since a little boy, I was always the captain of the team. I was always that. I was always the leader. I like to think of myself as a good communicator. Mm-hmm. I like to think I'm able to put my words together relatively well. Yeah. I'm able to instill passion in others. Yeah. By being able to create quality visions, and also I'm really comfortable with saying no. And
no,
but it's taken time to get there. But now I'm in a position whereby I'm able to inspire and lead, and you know what? I get such a kick from it.
Yes,
and I'm comfortable with difficult conversations. I'm comfortable being able to sit with people and communicate at a high level. Mm-hmm. So, and when I leave these sorts of things, even just sitting here with you, James, I will leave here and I'll be 10 feet tall for the rest of the day, because it just feels awesome. To be able to sit with good people and have great conversation and to communicate well and chat and talk about these wonderful things in life. And it sometimes reins you in and reminds you just how good things are and how good we've got it.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a big part for me. I love being a dad.
Yeah.
I love being a good husband.
Yeah, me too.
I love being a good leader every day.
But don't you think being a good dad or a good husband is being a good leader?
Yeah.
Because leadership is not something that you leave at the office door. I actually think that's when it starts. It's having that influence in your kids, showing them how to think, how to act, showing them there's another way, and be independent, of course. You know, being a fantastic husband.
Yeah,
you know, so like my wife works for the company. My daughter works for the company as well. Believe it or not, me and my wife work together in the same office, and there's no words to describe it. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yep,
it is absolutely fantastic because she has got my back. Like she has got my back.
Yep,
100%. What a feeling it is.
It's that age-old adage of I know rugby coach used to always say, and we've all heard it from different people in different walks of life, and they all say it differently. But he used to say that, you know, if you can look yourself in the mirror at night and know that you've put a good shift in for your day, you know, and you've earned your day, then well done. And if you can't, then you need to get up the next day and fix it.
Absolutely.
And I don't think about that every day, but it's a mantra of my own. It's something that I do. I'm very conscious of, even subconsciously. I'm always thinking that sort of way. You know, don't leave anything on the table.
Yeah. 100%. Do you know another thing, right? That's personally for myself and our business is having fun while you're doing it.
Oh yeah.
Me and my wife is like, if we're not having a laugh every day, no matter, even if it's stuff that we shouldn't laugh at, like, you know, problems and challenges, like, if I can't control, if it's not within my control, what's the point in worrying about it?
Yeah.
And we'll have a giggle about what's going on. Do you know that way? And this is just something that because that's what we're like in our private life. And I think it's really, really difficult to separate your business for your life when you've built it.
Agreed.
Because they're one of the same thing. Like, you know, even my daughter. I mean, I remember my daughter left school and she'd been accepted at Heriot Watt down in the Borders.
Okay, the textile gala.
She was into design. She wanted to open her wedding dress shop.
Wow.
That was her thing. And since she was a young kid, she was right into all this stuff. Anyway, she's accepted, and then she turned around and says to me, "Now, and in the meantime, she was about 14. She's worked in a hairdresser's, you know, in the Saturday shift. You know, she got in the wash hair and all that, and she loved it. So I gave her a bit of work ethic. And she says to me at 17, "By the way, Dad, I'm not going to uni any longer. I'm going to be a hairdresser." Oh my God! I nearly died, but I thought, okay, no. Let her make her decisions. Let her make her... She went away, she went to college, she did an HNC, she became a hairdresser. She did it for 2 years, and then she's, "By the way, Dad, I don't know what hairdresser any longer. Can I get a job with you?" And I says, "Absolutely no chance." I says, "No chance." I says, "You have to prove to me that you want this job. I ain't handing you." So I made her work for us, right, for about 6 months. At night, at the weekend, with the marketing team. You know, I gave them, and I basically said to the marketing team, "Treat Olivia like an intern. Forget she's my daughter." I says, "Because I'm going to hold you as responsible. If we go and hire her after 6 months, I'm holding you as responsible." I says, "So please do not sugarcoat it." And she absolutely smashed it, and I gave her a job. That was, I'll be 2 years in August, a year and a half ago.
So nice.
And that's great. It's brilliant, that feeling of having that. And you know, and it's amazing to watch her grow as well, because she came in and she's like really shy and never knew anything about marketing, and now she runs our LinkedIn stuff.
Okay.
And she runs it, and it's brilliant. And when I go in like third party calls and with our marketing, we use third party for certain things as well, and how she holds her own at such a young age, I think it's brilliant. I thought, that's when you know you're a good dad. Yes, you know you're a good leader.
Yeah,
see when you can see them growing in front of your eyes and making decisions.
Sure.
That is a feeling. I mean, that is a feeling.
Oh.
That's a feeling.
I'm not quite there yet with my two. I've got
it's going to come.
My 7-year-old daughter wants to be a vet, and my 3-year-old boy wants to drive diggers.
Well, there you go.
So hey, look, that's totally fine. They both say to me they don't want to sell houses. That's fine. You're too young for that now.
They'll never know until they actually get to that stage in their life. Because I always just believed my daughter was going to be a fashion designer.
Yeah, sure.
That was. I mean, literally, for she was about 4. That was her thing. She would sit and she would draw and she would design wedding dresses for a very, very young age. So it was almost like her life was written.
That's really cool.
Right? Almost like and all of a sudden, that's not what I want to do any longer. I'm like, that's really strange, because I wasn't, when I was younger, I never thought, I wanted to be a this or I wanted to be a that. I never knew what the hell I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea, probably like yourself. Well, my dad's in this business. Should I not get into that industry?
Yeah, 14 years old, I wanted to be a pro rugby player. That's when it hit. I didn't know what to do before then. But at 14 years old, I went on work experience with a local development officer, rugby development officer in the northeast of Scotland, and he changed my life. A guy called Jonathan Phillips, who went on to be a really high regard coach back in New Zealand. But he was over here for a couple of years, and I just thought he was the bee's knees. He was
proper leader.
Yeah, it really changed my life at 14. And I committed that sort of 4 years of my life at that age to become a pro rugby player. And at 18 it happened. But yeah, when it dawned on me, 21, 22, coming up to my 23rd birthday, I was like, God, I don't think this is me forever. Let's go back and play club rugby, enjoy it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I only retired 5 years ago from playing. Okay. So I still played 28 years of rugby.
Yeah, wow.
And I still would regard it as I had a wonderfully successful rugby career, because I got to build a business alongside playing Premiership rugby for all that time and won a lot during that period. But to go back to your point, like, I remember at 23 going, what am I going to do? And a lot of it was monetary. My dad makes good money doing that. I'll go and do that.
Of course.
You know, if my dad was doing something else that was making money, I probably would have went and done that. So honestly, I chose the same path as my dad, purely from financial purpose, for financial purposes. No other reason. I had no interest in mortgages and insurance. I just knew my dad made good cash,
and that was enough of an incentive.
That's what it was at that age. But let's be honest, that's what steered me in that direction. And I knew that he met people every day. And it was back in the day, most client-facing stuff was in their homes.
Yeah,
he'd go out of an evening in a suit and he'd go meet people. Yeah. And I loved the idea of that.
Sit down with their book and sit and
back of fag packet stuff as well.
Yeah,
I used to love that. I used to see my dad going out there and coming home at night, and I could see how he was buzzing because he'd got another deal done at someone's house or whatever. And I didn't know what he was doing, but I loved it. So I just went and copied him. That's where it started.
Amazing. So let's look into the future now. The whole kind of, what is the big picture? What is the big? What does that big dream, that big vision look like? What is that for you now?
For business,
yeah. We'll start with business then.
I believe that we have a real niche, but we're at the early stages now with the Casa Group, which I'm now obviously on the board of. I want to turn Casa Group into the fastest growing property services group in the UK.
Yep.
I want us to probably be from Manchester right up to Aberdeen.
Yeah.
We've got no real interest in moving into London anytime soon.
Is that because it's a saturated market? Or?
Yeah, and also from an investment perspective, it's not actually worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed.
But I think maybe from Manchester North is what we're looking to try and do.
Manchester is a powerhouse.
Absolutely.
On its own,
Absolutely. So we've got some big plans in terms of growth and expansion of the group. But with not only that, it's the internal revenue opportunity that we can roll out across the whole group by copying what we've created in Edinburgh with Cox and Co, and rolling that out across, group wide is something that I just want to have my sole focus on. Get us to a point whereby we can either look at some private equity cash, we can look to maybe float ourselves, and at that point I'll make some decisions where I want to be in life. And I know what'll happen. I'll get some big figure hopefully dangled in front of me, and I could maybe take it, but I'll probably end up look to just get bought back in again, and we'll go a third time.
Start a delivery company.
We'll go and set up a logistics company doing deliveries. I see myself always being involved in property and finance.
Yeah.
It's two things that I'm really good at and I'm really passionate for.
And you enjoy it.
Yeah. I would like to get back into some kind of rugby and sport. I've taken up golf in the last 3 years, proper newbie at that. So I'm starting to build some new hobbies, which I hadn't had for a number of years because it's all just business, family. So from a business, to answer that question, from a business perspective, I want to take Cassa as far as it possibly can go. It is 100% something I'm completely professionally devoted to, is to see how big, not just how big, how good we can make the Casa Group. There's a couple of large property groups out there that people know that have been buying up lots of letting agents recently. I won't name them today, I don't think it's fair, but a lot of other business owners I've met in the industry say, oh God, if you were to ever sell to them, you're basically selling your soul.
Yeah.
I want people...
They're stripping it to the shreds and doing that.
I want people to want to be a part of Casa Group.
Yeah.
I believe there's hundreds of business owners in the property space out there that were like me 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Needing a big brother, needed assistance, a bit of an anabolic injection to grow their business, trying to find a way for them to offer more complementary services internally, but never had the experience or the qualifications or the regulatory authority behind them to do so. And I want us to be that person.
There you go. There's the model.
Yeah, so let them keep those business owners empowered, keep them involved, but help them grow their businesses by being part of the Casa Group. That is my, without being too much of a pitch to your audience, but that is what I'm looking for, is other business owners to understand that, you might sell your shares in, but you can buy some shares back into the group and be part of something, and it will grow 10 times faster than continue doing your own. There's other big brothers out there, and I am proof of that. It's been the best thing I've done. So that's really got me really excited for the future for my business.
Amazing.
Personally, I want to start getting some time back. We haven't talked about this just yet, but you'll never ever hear me say I don't have time for something. That hit
that
home.
Just means it's no high in your priority list when MD uses the time. I talk about that as well.
It's capacity.
Capacity
absolutely.
To me. And that's when you decide how high is it. Is this a priority or is it not?
Like people might say, John, can I speak to you at 4 o'clock today? Is my diary empty at 4 o'clock? Yeah. But at that point, if I've done a podcast and I've had 4 back-to-back Teams calls and I haven't had any lunch, and I know that I've got 2 members of staff that started this week that could really do with a bit of my time, just even a pat in the back from the boss saying, hey, how you doing? How's training going? And then to try and go on that call at 4 o'clock, they're not going to get the best of me.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree
I might not have time to prepare for that call. So I'd rather say to them, listen, I just don't have capacity to speak to you. I'll never say to them, I don't have time to speak to you, because it's a lie. So let's be really bloody honest.
Absolutely. It's the capacity of, couldn't agree more.
So my life has been business and family, business and family, business and family. I now want to try and find some capacity to fit in some golf, because I'm finding in my 3 years journey into being a golfer, as much as I'm still rubbish, I'm getting a lot from it. I've actually got some business through golf, genuinely, because I kind of help myself. Part of that kind of help myself in terms of talking shop when I'm golfing.
Somebody no likes and trusts you anyway. It's only, I think it's just like a natural thing to want to do business with somebody like that, isn't it? When you build a relationship, you're like, well, actually, I could really use your services.
Agreed. It's opened my eyes. I've got a bit of something between my teeth again. I feel like I've got my competitive edge back from sport, because I haven't had that for a while since leaving rugby. And I knew there was a void. There was something that was missing. I tried getting into 5Ks and 10Ks and half marathons.
Done them all. It killed my knees.
Well, this is it. And I'm an 110 kilo prop. It's not for me. So I've tried looking at other things, and it was too individual. Whereas with golf, I can be out there with other people and enjoy that camaraderie and that fun element. So I want to, again, to go back to the point, where do I see myself? I want to try and get some, change my sort of capacity levels, get some time back for me, so I can have more capacity to do things that I'm starting to enjoy, a bit more passion projects. I do a lot of charity work. Like I said right at the beginning, I'm a trustee of The Yard, which is quite a large children's charity across Scotland. They've got 3 different adventure centres across the country, with plans to seriously expand. And as a trustee there, I'm involved on the corporate governance of that charity, and I'm heavily involved in fundraising and on boards with Lukey House, which is Scotland's national respite care centre, based out at North Berwick. And absolutely love both charities. I do different things for both. I do fundraising with Lukey House, and I do a bit of corporate governance stuff with The Yard. And I'd love to be able to, again, give both of them more of my time, and see how I can help them elevate and grow.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so I want to ask you, I'm going to ask you 2 different, I normally ask a guest at near the end of the podcast to always give me the top 3 pieces of advice in business and life, but I'm going to ask you to give me your top 3 pieces of advice in business and your top 3 in life. So anybody's listening, and what's your top 3 pieces of advice to anybody who's either starting in business, looking to grow, looking to develop? What would your top 3 pieces of advice be?
I mean, it's really easy to fall back on, again, honesty, accountability and integrity, but it's true, James. Like, just be really honest manage people's expectations correctly. So be honest in terms of what you can and cannot deliver.
Yeah.
Be honest in terms of what you can and cannot manage. Be honest with whether or not you can or cannot just do something. And that maybe then opens your own eyes when you go to bed that night. You think, yeah, I do need to take on staff because I can't keep doing it myself as a sole trader.
Well, that's exactly how you grow your business, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get to a point and you go, right, okay, it's time to bring somebody else. Right, it's time to bring... I remember the first few hires are the scariest.
Yeah.
See, once you get past 5 or 6, you're away.
This is it.
Yeah,
And you might go
just
through a period.
realise we need more capacity. I need to hire somebody.
Yeah, a lot of my time at the moment, I'm basically like a glorified recruiter at the moment, and that's okay because that's just for now as we're growing.
Yeah.
And I'm quite enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm quite enjoying it. Integrity.
So core values is really, really critical.
I would say to any business owner, whether they're sole traders or trying to grow a business or they're already up there, they'll all agree with me. Honesty, accountability, and integrity.
Yep.
Be comfortable making mistakes and be really open when you do make those mistakes and just find ways to make it better for the next time. That's fine. I encourage my team to just crack on, and if they make mistakes, let's just own up to it and be honest. Let's find ways to make this work and fix things. Exactly.
Think about how many things you've got wrong in order to have the business you have today.
It's so important. Accountability is the biggest one, in my opinion.
It's one of my core values is accountability, by the way. It's one of my core values, accountability. Just
be accountable in everything that you do. If you say you're going to do something, do it. I know for a fact that my team in Edinburgh, they feel worse letting each other down than letting me down.
Yeah.
I love going in, and I've heard it so many times. I've walked in the office and I can hear, I know, Lisa in the property team saying, right, I better get this job done here because if I don't, I'll get it in the neck from Neil tomorrow, who's our investments director. And I love that because she's not thinking, what's the boss going to say if I don't get this done? Or
it's what my team members are going to say.
I need to help him get that. For him to finish his role and do his part of that piece of the puzzle, I need to get this bit done. So you know what, I'm going to stay back a little bit longer and fix this to make sure it sorts him out for the next day. Yeah. That's what she was saying. And sometimes in jest, they noise each other up and it's fun. You mentioned fun before. You know, there's a lot of fun in the Edinburgh office because they all
have fun.
Well, they're all aligned. They're all aligned, they understand the vision, so they have good fun doing it. And because they're a group of adults, they all hold each other accountable. Yeah. So it's a huge, huge part of it. And I like to think that I've instilled that in them. So honesty, accountability and integrity are so important, whether you're a startup on your own, you know, you got that first van, start delivering in Peebles, or if you're a managing director of a property services group that's UK wide, you've got to build that vision, your mission, your goals, and you've got to stick by them.
Yeah. Personally, top 3 pieces of advice from my personal point of view.
Be kind.
Yeah.
Be really kind. Offer that time to people to be kind. Be really honest. And be brave enough to cut people out. The biggest one, so be kind and be honest, 100%. When I mean about being brave to cut people out.
By the way, I know exactly what you're talking about because I've actually had to do it.
Yeah. Well,
both in business and in life.
Yeah.
Because you've got those people who just drain you. I mean, literally drain you.
Allow me to kind of elaborate slightly on this because I've spoken on other podcasts exactly on this point, and I speak to my team about it quite often. My view on this is there's adders, subtractors, multipliers and dividers in everyone's lives. Right. The adders are the people you want to spend time with day to day. You see them all the time. You know, you'd employ adders. Your family are adders, people who you spend time with every single day, and it's folk you want to spend time with, and they add to your life.
As long as they're adding to your life.
They add something, way, shape or form. Even just walk into a room, you see them, oh great, they're here, it's wonderful. And they're not detracting from you, they're not coming to you with moans, and they might have problems, but they're coming to you with solutions as well. They're adding to situations personally, professionally. You've then got the multipliers, and everyone's got a few multipliers. That pal or that business pal or that person walks in the room and just lights you up. Yeah. You know, we've all got that funniest mate. Yes. We've all got that person on work who you look up to and you hold on a pedestal. There's some serious multipliers and I think Scotland's great because with our our humour and the way we are here in Scotland in general, there's a lot of multipliers out there, and I've got a good few multipliers in my life that when they walk into a room, they just light me up. But then we've all got subtractors. We've got that person that's down in the face, and they're never happy. There's always an issue. There's something going on, and it gets to a point where that can really take from you, especially if you're on a high and you're
cut out.
Well,
I physically cut them out.
It's the dividers.
Yeah.
It's the dividers, because you can go one next step, and it's the ones who literally are detracting from your life. The ones who are...
Right, so you call them the dividers.
We're all going to have some subtractors in life. You know, you've got family members subtractors. You just kind of get on with it.
Absolutely.
I actually take it the other way, James. I look at it as dividers. There's people out there that they suck the life out of you, like Dementors from Harry Potter.
That's the people I'm talking about, the ones that just suck the life out of you.
And if you get to a point where you're leaving a social event after spend time with these people, and it's awful and it's really affecting you, you've got to get to a point where you cut these out in your life, and personally and professionally. Running a business, and if you've got some poison in there, you need to get out of there quick. I'm a great believer of that. Is if somebody is pulling everybody else down, I'm quite cutthroat with that.
Yeah, so bad.
They will not last. They are not going to
go. Even people who brought loads of value to the business, but detracted for the whole ethos of what we're trying to create, and they were dragging people down. In fact, toxic to a point. And the thing is when what I found is not everybody will come to me as the business owner and tell me this is what's going on. I actually heard it through a third party friend of mine. In fact, the person that made me start the success, because she was giving her team a support, we'll call it. We're giving the marketing team a bit of support and around the messaging and all that. And she phoned me up and she said, "Do you know that I won't mention names, do you know that you've got a really toxic employee?" No. And she said it's... And I was like, what? Yes, the person was quite blunt. Yes, they were quite opinionated, but I had no idea that they were actually being very toxic. I mean, and the language that they were using as well was toxic.
Right.
And I called the marketing team up and I said to him, why have you no... Oh, well, you know, you're quite friendly with him. No, he's an employee. Yeah, there's a huge difference. You know, I need to know this stuff. I was shocked, and we had to let them go. We had literally right there and then, like, done.
Probably the best thing you did.
Cut them, and it was, by the way. It's amazing how, though, first of all, you worry, you think, oh, who's going to be able to take up all that slack and all the work that they do? And what I've found is every time I've had to let someone go, and you kind of worry initially. You can, slack and the load we've got on, and if they're not here, and then you bring somebody else on and they're so much better. You know, it's always that upgrade.
It is, and you just see the whole room gets lifted.
Absolutely.
With the next people come in. Or when you cut out that difficult person, it's amazing how many other people come to you and go,
unbelievable.
"Oh, John, thank you so much for that." Or other stuff comes out from under the woodwork, you find out that you didn't know.
Yeah. It's flourish. It's what I found was the how people flourish when you remove that for the business. I mean, people that used to report to them, and I'm not just talking about the marketing team, I'm talking like a lot of, because they were a really senior person. The other leadership team, it's almost like they've taken a new, like a lease of life. Yeah. Like they've this autonomy now. They've not got this person constantly questioning and digging them out. Yeah. And it was just absolutely brilliant.
But it's the same, but again, you go back to business, but it's personal as well. Like, I had a friend that I literally had to cut out of my life, which was very, very, very difficult at the time, but because I felt like I was their life coach. It was absolutely eating at me, spending so much time with this person. And all I was doing was just giving them absolutely everything.
Yeah, energy, everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
And they're not giving anything back other than just asking me loads and loads and loads to help them to their benefit. And there was no benefit to me in the relationship whatsoever. And we spoke about time and capacity before. It was, like, I'm thinking to myself, right, I've got 2 days at a weekend to spend time with people. And out of nowhere, I'm finding myself spending more and more time because it's easy to spend time with this particular person, but it was really, really affecting me. Yeah. And I can't have that. For me to be 100 miles an hour and be the person who I am.
And at the top of your game.
Yeah, I can't have that.
Yeah.
So, without being too aggressive with it, adders, subtractors, multipliers and dividers. It's a thing that I live by now in business and in my personal life.
Do you know, this is just before we close off, like, I'm a big gym goer, right? I'm in the gym 6 days a week, and I actually block in the afternoon, so for 11:30 till 1 o'clock, I go to the gym. So me and my wife both go to the gym. That's my kind of release. And I think, so physically and mentally fit keeps me way ahead in my opinion. It's just having that release, going to the gym, feeling good about yourself, eating good food. You know, I'm a huge audiobook when I'm driving or traveling, or I'm always listening to something. I love learning. And it really, I feel, for me anyway, it is really, it keeps me at the top of my game. The keeping fit, the eating healthy. You know, I very rarely drink. When I do drink, I drink.
Yeah.
But I very rarely, during the week, I will never touch alcohol.
No, I'm the same.
Like, at all. Saturday, different story. Yeah. But during the week, I don't drink at all, because I'm always like, I love whiskey, right? I love a really nice malt whiskey.
Too.
I really,
we get a good chat about that offline. We get a good chat.
Brilliant ones. And seeing a Saturday night, and I mean, a big ice and just a big glass of whiskey, and I sit and I've got a nice big crystal glass with the kind of American style,
sure.
the longer, and I just sit and there's no feeling in the world like sitting a really good one. I mean, to a point I'm actually like, that's so good. Do you know?
Oh, I know that feeling.
So good. I think, and that's it. That's my unless I go to the pub with my mates, of course, and then I'll have some beers. But that's my thing. Wine or red wine or whiskey.
Quality over quantity.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd much rather pour myself a really, really nice spirit and enjoy it and say, right, I deserved that, rather than going out and just drinking absolutely everything under the sun these days. Obviously, but that's a maturity thing, isn't it? It's growing up.
It's my Saturday night. That's my Saturday night. My thing. We'll maybe go to the cinema, or we'll go do something as a family. We'll come down at 9 o'clock. It's almost right on the dot. 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. Yeah, it's whiskey time.
I love that. I love that. And just, you've got to make sure that nothing changes that. You've got to keep that going.
I've got loads of them, right? And I don't finish any. I go through all and see when they start to get low, I'll buy another few. And I like to try different whiskies. And because I used to quite like it, you know, kind of Loch Lomond, the kind of really light. But now I'm into dark whiskies, really peaty, really smoky, almost like cigar-y. You know, it's amazing how my taste starts to change.
But that's it. That's what's great about whiskey. There's no bad whiskey out there. It just goes into your own taste profile.
Well, saying that, right? So I used to live in Dubai, right? And I looked after the Middle East and Asia. So I travelled a lot. And every time I travelled, I'd buy 2 or 3 bottles of whiskey. And I had I've not got as big a collection now, right enough, because I drank a lot of them. And I had a really big whiskey collection. And I remember I bought a really expensive bottle. When I say really expensive, it was about 300 or 400 quid, right? Which is expensive, right? And it was horrible. It was absolutely horrid. It was like drinking perfume. It was really, really bad.
Quite floral.
So it was very floral, yes.
Yeah.
And I kept that. So see, any time we're having a party and my mate, because they always want to have a whiskey, right? And I'd go, I've got a great whiskey for you.
Yeah.
We were all drunk, so it didn't matter. And that one I gave them all that.
They were the ones that got that one.
They got that one. God, wasn't it nice?
But the next person, James, might absolutely love that.
Well, according to them, they all loved it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It comes into your own taste profile. There's a few whiskies out there that I'm not a big fan of, but my friends are. And but again, that's the beauty of whiskey, in my opinion. Single malt whiskey is one of my favourite things in the world. You can sit there.
They all taste different.
Yeah. I mean, again, probably shouldn't say it in a podcast, but being really open, like, I'm a lover of alcohol.
Yeah.
I collect a lot of whiskey.
Yep.
I collect tequila. Is my main spirit.
Okay.
We'll come back on it in a second.
Less of a hangover, apparently. My wife likes tequila, by the way.
I've been collecting tequila now for about 7-8 years.
Right.
And I do class myself as a bit of an agave aficionado. It's my thing. I love it, but it's a passion.
I've never heard anyone say that, so that's a box.
An agave aficionado, your first one on your podcast. But I'll sit and pour a whiskey on a Friday or a Saturday night over ice. Yeah. And I know which ones I like. And I bore my friends to death when they come round and I try and do a wee tequila tasting rather than a whiskey tasting in the house. But I'm the same with wine. I go to a lot of beer festivals throughout the year. I've got a few pals that are big time beer fans, and they've got me into trying really heavy stouts and porters and so on, and I really enjoy that as well. Again, it's quality over quantity.
I couldn't agree more.
Because I wouldn't even accept a can of Tennent's off someone nowadays. I just can't do it. It's not my thing. But what I do really enjoy is good quality spirit. And you know why? And I think it's weird how we've come on to this in the conversation. The story. I'm a big lover of stories. Yeah. I'm a storyteller myself. You clearly are as well.
Stories rule the world.
Yes. And when someone sits down with you and you go, and they tell you all about a wine, and they tell you where it came from and how it worked. Or you go on a wine tasting and they tell you all about it, and then you pour it at the end and you try it. You think, oh my God, that's amazing, because I love the story in the background. And you take that, then you leave that vineyard and you get home from your holiday. You open that bottle, and the next couple of weeks later with some friends, and they try it and they go, oh my God, that's shite. And then you realise it isn't actually the nicest wine you've ever tried, but what you fell in love with was the story.
Yeah, and I think totally agree.
Whiskey has that. Yeah. Tequila has that, which a lot of folk don't realise. The story behind tequila is incredible. And
it's massive in the US, tequila.
Yeah, they're the largest
importer.
I've had a
vodka here in the UK. In the US, it's the tequila.
USA and Spain are the two largest importers of tequilas out of Mexico, but and then me and Peebles. But again, I spend a lot of money on tequila, but the tequilas that I do have, I do open them and I do enjoy them. Again, I love the story, and
absolutely.
I'm a great believer of that. I know maybe I'm going to sound an old school romantic, but I love nothing more than sitting down with great people, telling great stories, enjoying great liquid together, and going, right, well, that was the good, great times.
Couldn't agree more. I think it's, as you said, right, I love alcohol. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I don't love a hangover. I don't love overdoing it, but I actually really enjoy having a really nice whiskey or a really nice wine. It's almost, what's the right word? It's almost like it's that switch in your head, that relax, that switch.
Oh, of course,
I mean, I don't need a drink to relax. As I say, the only time I normally have a drink, sometimes a Friday, but it's normally on a Saturday. But it's just that, as I said to you, it's just that.
Yeah, and it doesn't even need to be explained. You don't need to. People don't need to say, "Oh, I don't have a drink problem." It's not about that.
No, is it hell?
If the fact that I enjoy alcohol, but within reason, it's my choice.
And that's the magic. Is within
my
reason.
choice. Yeah, and I know when I can enjoy it, when I can't enjoy it. I know when I'll feel better, when I don't. I know when if I'm spending time with the kids or whatever else I've got going on. Just be an adult and manage your book properly. There's far too many idiots that just think still in their 40s binge drinking the weekends acceptable.
What is that? It just blows me away.
Yeah, so again, it's all about capacity, isn't it? It goes right back to that thing that I've talked about for the last hour to you. It's capacity. I'm a lover of alcohol. I'm a lover of many things in life, but it's quality over quantity.
Couldn't agree more. And by the way, listen, John, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, I've really enjoyed it.
I can't even believe some of the conversations we've had.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Thank you so much for coming along. If anybody wants to get in contact, and all your details will be on the podcast on YouTube and all that,
Great.
but if anybody wants to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you? If they're interested in what you do, or they're maybe looking for some advice around the property portfolio.
I'm predominantly on LinkedIn. I'm a big time LinkedIner.
That's where we connected. LinkedIn,
John Cox, Cox and Co. You can find me via there. Or just check out Cox and Co online and give us a shout. I'm really available. And I do honestly say this to any of your listeners: if it's one property to 20s and 30s and 40s of properties, we can assist with absolutely everything and anything. And even if it's just a no obligation chat to see if they're doing the right thing, I'd just be delighted to help. Or if anyone wants to talk about tequila, give me a shout as well.
Or a nice whiskey.
Or a nice whiskey.
We'll stick with the tequila. You're the connoisseur. Listen, as I said, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I will definitely be having you on again.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
Thank you.